Hare Krishna. So, welcome all the devotees for our Friday Bhagavad Gita sessions. So, we will be continuing our discussion on Introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada has divided the entire Introduction to Bhagavad Gita section into 5 main subjects. The first one is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, the mood with which Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and the mood with which Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita. That the spirit, that is the first subject. And the second aspect in the Bhagavad Gita introduction, which Srila Prabhupada highlighted, was the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Why at all on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna was inspired to speak on Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. The purpose, that aspect is being elaborated in the introduction part. And third, the third division of the subject of the introduction was on the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita. The entire Bhagavad Gita 18 chapters speak on 5 topics. So the 5 subjects of Bhagavad Gita, that is the on which Srila Prabhupada briefly elaborates in the introduction. And in the 4th section of the introduction, Srila Prabhupada speaks about the process of understanding Bhagavad Gita. You know the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, then we know the purpose of Bhagavad Gita and the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. Once we know these things, the process of understanding, is it just where reading Bhagavad Gita will understand? Or what we are supposed to do? What is the process of understanding Bhagavad Gita? That Srila Prabhupada elaborated in the 4th section of introduction. And in the 5th section of the last section of introduction, Srila Prabhupada tells about the process of going back to Godhead, or in another way, how to practically apply the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, the introduction Bhagavad Gita is being divided. So in the last, Hare Krishna, somebody speaking?
No,
so in the last section, we discussed about the spirit and the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. And today in this week, we will be discussing on the 3 things. What are the 5 subjects of Bhagavad Gita? What is the process of understanding Bhagavad Gita? And then Hare Krishna, please mute your mics.
मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ.
Hare Bol.
ठीक है, मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ.
Yeah. So, and the 5th section is process of going back to Godhead, or practically applying the Bhagavad Gita. So, Srila Prabhupada, when he was commenting on Bhagavad Gita, it is not that he gave commentary only one time. In his entire life, Srila Prabhupada has commented on Bhagavad Gita at many stages of his life. And he gave the commentary in such a way that it brings out the mood of Krishna as it is. Generally, it's very important. Then when you translate a book, where an author has written a book and you are translating in a specific language, any local languages, it's important that we keep the mood in which the author wrote the book when you translate it. Generally, when you translate, you may translate the language, but you may not take the mood as it is of the author. So, for that, one needs a very good relationship with the author. Then only you can translate the mood also into that particular local, in that book, when you translate it. So, I hope you will be able to appreciate this particular example. So, it's like Shakespeare novels are there. That novels are written with a specific mood and mellow. when you translate those novels into any local languages like Hindi or any other languages, it's important to translate the mood also within that. Otherwise, we may just translate the lines, but we may not take that mood into it. It's very crucial. So Srila Prabhupada was very expert, being a pure devotee himself. He could very well align with the mood of Krishna. So when Krishna has composed Bhagavad Gita through his words, Padmanabhasya Mukanda, from the Padmanabha, from his mukha, from his mouth, these words have been came out. Bhagavad Gita words have came out. So when you translate that book in any language, whether it is English or anything like commentary, it's important to translate the mood of the author, that is Krishna. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is not called as Bhagavad Gita, it's called as Bhagavad Gita as it is. So, right now, what we'll be doing is we'll recite those 7 verses which are a glorification of Bhagavad Gita, composed by Adi Shankaracharya. And then we'll go to our discussion. Okay? So, I will just share the screen. Hope you'll be able to. You're able to see?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So these are the 7 which Adi Shankaracharya has personally composed. And we had a discussion on this in earlier. You can refer to that videos also, earlier videos, where we discussed in 2 sessions on these 7 verses of Gita Mahatma. Okay, please repeat after me with your mics muted, and one devotee can volunteer to repeat after me with his mic on. Okay, you can choose any of you. Someone who would like to repeat. Who would like to do that? Okay. Aruna Prabhu, if you can repeat after me, that will be nice. Okay. Are you there, Aruna? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I'm traveling. Just give me 2-3 minutes. I'll be in the house.
Oh, okay, then okay. Someone else can do that. Then Amritendra Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, you can repeat after me. With others also can certainly repeat, but with their mics muted. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Gita Shastram Idam Punyam
Gita Shastam Idam Punnam
Yat Patet Prayatta Puman
Jat Pateta Payata Punam Puman
Yat Patet Prayatta Puman
Jat Pateta Payato Puman
Vishnu Padam Avapnoti
Vishnu Padama Vaploti
Ayashokadi Varjitaha
Hayo Shoka Diba.
Gita Shastram Idam Punyam.
Sorry, Prabhu, phone आ गया था.
Okay. Gita Shastram Idam Punyam
Gita Shastamidam Purnam
Yapatet Prayaptuman
Jat Pateta Payata Puman
Vishnu Padam Avapnoti
Vishnu Padama Vapnoti
Ayashokadi Varjitaha.
Bhayo Shoka Divarjitaha.
One who, with a regulated mind, recites with devotion this Bhagavad Gita scripture What he says? He which is the bestower of all virtue will attain the holy abode such as Vaikunta, the residence of Lord Vishnu, which is always free from mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. So one who with a regulated mind reads this Bhagavad Gita regularly, then what happens? He will attain Vaikunta, Vishnu Padam Avapnoti, which is free from the fear and lamentation. Bhaya Shokadi Varjitaha. Next, second verse. Gita Dhyayana Shilasya
Gita Dhayanarshilastha
Pranayama Parasya Cha
Panayama Parasya cha
Naiva Shanti Papani
Naiba Santihi Papani
Purva Janma Kritani Cha
Purva Janma Kitani cha
Gita Dhyayana Shilasya
Gita Dhayanarshilastha
Pranayama Parasya Cha
Pranayama Parasya cha
Naivi Shanti Papani
Naibi Santihi Papani
Janma Kritani Cha.
Purva Janma Kitani cha.
So here it said that okay, Gita Shastram is very pure, but how to read it? That is explained in the second verse. Gita Dhyana Shilasya, one should very sincerely and seriousness. Sincere means that intention. That sincerity is about having that intention, valuing the subject which is in front of you. That is sincerity. And with all seriousness means there is a commitment. So one should, with that valuing Bhagavad Gita and with all commitment, one should recite, one should read Bhagavad Gita. Then what happens? Naivi Shantihi Papani. By the grace of the Lord, one gets free from all the sinful aspects. And Purva Janma Kritanicha. Reactions of his past. We are all burdened not only by the problems of this life, we are also burdened by our actions of the previous lives. Therefore, sometimes we don't understand why this problem is coming to me. Because we have acquired our last lives, previous lives, past sinful reactions. And we are suffering those things. So for everything, there is a cause. It's not that you are not entitled for it. Just like you get enjoyment without any much endeavor, similarly, you also get suffering without any much endeavor. Another way you can say it like that. So just like you get suffering without an endeavor, you don't have to endeavor for enjoyment. By your previous karma, you get your enjoyment also. So therefore, that time should be utilized in sincerely and seriously reading Bhagavad Gita. So by just doing this sincere reading regularly, what happens? The third verse. Maline mochanam pumsam
Maline mochanam pushpam
jalasnanam dine dine
Jalastanam dine dine
akrit gita amrita snanam
Sagrid Gitamrita Snanam
taramala nashanam
Samsara Malanasanam
maline mochanam pumsam
Maline Mochanam Pumsham
jalasnanam dine dine
Jalasnanam dine dine
akrit gita amrita snanam
Sagrid Gitamrita Snanam
taramala nashanam.
Samsara Malanasanam.
Just by regularly bathing, you cleanse your external body from all the dirt. Similarly, the samsara, the life's contamination, because of living a life in this material world, we acquire so many contaminations, knowingly and unknowingly. So much contamination has occupied our heart. And how can you get rid of it? By reading, by bathing in the verses of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, when you recite regularly verses, they're very purifying. They're very soothing to the mind also. And not only soothing to the mind, it is also very much helping in purifying your heart. So that is the wonderful glories of the Bhagavad Gita verses. Next verse. Gita su Gita kartavya
Gita su Gita kartavya.
manyai shastra vistarai
Imannai shastra vistarai.
yasvayam padmanabhasya
Ya swayam padmanabhasya.
padmad vinishrita
Mukha padmat vinishrita.
Gita su Gita kartavya
Gita su Gita kartavya.
manyai shastra vistarai
Imannai shastra vistarai.
yasvayam padmanabhasya
Ya swayam padmanabhasya.
Padma Vinishrita.
Mukha padmat vinishrita.
So, just by reading Bhagavad Gita verses, that is sufficient. You don't have to go to any other book for spiritual knowledge. Everything what is required for our upliftment in spiritual understanding is given in Bhagavad Gita. Because this is personally spoken by Padmanabhasya. Who is Padmanabha? That is Lord Vishnu. Krishna is the source of Vishnu. From Krishna, Vishnu has appeared. Especially the Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaka Vishnu, and Tilodaksha Vishnu. These three Vishnus have expanded from Krishna. So, hearing the words of Krishna alone is sufficient for our upliftment, spiritual understanding, and spiritual wisdom. So that is what this particular verse speaks about it. This is Shankaracharya speaking about it. Next verse. Bharatamrita sarvasvam
Bharatamrita sarvasvam.
Nuvaktrat vinishritam
Bhakta vinishritam.
Gita Gangodakam pitva
Gita gangodakam pitva.
Punarjanmana vidyate
Punarjanmana vidyate.
Bharatamrita sarvasvam
Bharatamrita sarvasvam.
Vishnuvaktrat vinishritam
Vishnu Bhaktrat vinishritam.
Gita Gangodakam pitva
Gita gangodakam pitva.
Punarjanmana vidyate.
Punarjanmana vidyate.
So Bharatamrita Sarvaswam Vishnu Vakrata Vinishritam. Okay. So this particular Bhagavad Gita is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva in that particular Purana, Bhagavad Itihasa. In the Itihasa, Bhagavad Mahabharata. At the end, this particular Gita, the discussion of Krishna with Arjuna is being compiled. And this is very important. This is like a Ganges. One has to drink the water of this particular Gita. By drinking the water of this Gita, Ganga, Gita is also like Ganga. By drinking that water, one gets purified. Punar Janmana Vidyate. He will not get an opportunity to take birth again in this material world. This material world is considered like a very dukkhalayam. Always there are problems. Wherever you touch, the best out of everything what comes out is problem. Any material thing, you touch it. The essence of the material thing is problem, suffering. It may be packaged with a very wonderful thing, okay, exciting things, which will give a titillation to your senses for a certain time. But afterwards, what comes out, the real substance of matter is suffering. Dukkhalayam. You cannot come to Dukkhalayam and ask for Sukha. अरे people बोलेंगे ना, अरे बहुत तो आनंद तो है प्रभु जी, आप कैसे आप इसको खंडन कर रहे हैं? अरे आनंद जो कह रहे हैं आप, वो सिर्फ पैकेजिंग है, उसके अंदर भरपूर करके दुख भरा है, उसको अनुभव करके जिंदा रहने के लिए ऊपर की पैकेजिंग कोटिंग दिया है बस. Just like you want to make a child eat the medicine, you coat it with a sugar candy above. The child thinks that I'm taking sugar candy, but actually is taking the medicine. The material world is coated with a some sort of illusory happiness. But what is there inside packaging, the real substance is suffering. Punar. So therefore, when you recite, when you take shelter of this Gita, which is like a Ganga, which was compiled at the end of Mahabharata. Mahabharata is a very amazing, one time we will have an elaborate discussion on the different characteristics of Mahabharata. At earlier, I think I was taking one particular compilation on the Kurukshetra war, but in that war, and the conclusion of that Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita. So one should take shelter of it. Sarva Upanishada Gavo
Sarvo Upanishada Gavo
Jogda Gopala Nandana
Dugda Gopala Nandana
Pardo Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta
Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta
Dugdam Gitamritam Mahat
Dugdam Kritamritam Mahat
Sarva Upanishada Gavo
Sarva Upanishada Gavo
Jogda Gopala Nandana
Gopala Nandana
Pardo Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta
Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta
Dugdam Gitamritam Mahat.
Dugdam Kritamritam Mahat.
So Shankaracharya compares the Gita and the entire episode of how Krishna spoken to Arjuna to a very nice example here, analogy he gives. He compares entire Vedas, Sarva Upanishad, all the Upanishad to be like a cow. And the milkman who is milking that cow, he says Krishna is that milkman. Lord Krishna is that milkman. What he is doing? He is milking that cow, which is Upanishads. And what is coming out of milking the cow? The milk, the essence of the cow. That he compares to Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. Sarva Upanishada. So the essence is the Gita Amrita. The Gita is that Amrit, the milk which is coming from that cow. And who is drinking that milk at the first place? That is Partha. Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. Arjuna is like the calf. So, keeping Arjuna in front, Krishna churned out the Bhagavad Gita from the Vedas. And he made him to drink that way Bhagavad Gita. And that milk of the cow is not only meant for the calf, but it also meant for all the human beings. All the human beings are recommended to drink the milk of the cow. And the cow should be taken care. Asanaki, you drink the milk and you are not worried about the cow. You allow the cow to go to slaughterhouse and be butchered by a butcher, and you don't worry about the mother who is giving you milk every day to drink. So such drinking has no value. When you're drinking milk, you should actually take responsibility of the cow. Otherwise, you're quite irresponsible. You get into a blunder. You get into a big blunder. You are drinking the milk of the mother and you are not worried about the mother being killed. So it's very crucial. Instead of becoming vegan, it's always better to become Krishnatarian. When you are Krishnatarian, you will drink milk and also take care of the mother cow. You take the responsibility of ensuring the mother is taken, mother is ensured a peaceful life. So I am very fortunate to be in a place here, get an opportunity to serve the cows regularly here in ISKCON Newtown, Goshala, Calcutta. I'm realizing that importance of the cow. The responsibility. Not that you drink milk and you don't worry about the mother cow. So there should be a emphasis in life. Therefore, the concept of ahimsa milk came. Okay. Please mute your mic. Somebody don't. If you are to ask something, then only unmute yourself. Okay. So the Vedas are compared to cow, and Krishna, the milkman, is milking that cow, and what comes out is Gita Amrita, Bhagavad Gita. And first person who is made to drink that Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna. But this Bhagavad Gita is not only meant for Arjuna, it is meant for each one of us. Therefore, we are having all these sessions. Why we are sitting on the online Zoom and hearing these sessions is because it's important for us also to drink that milk, to drink Gita Amrita. You see, those who drink the cow's milk regularly, their spiritual acumen, the tissues in the brain which are meant for spiritual understanding or some, for a very high dimensional understanding, that gets, starts working properly. Therefore, those who are spiritualists or those who are eager to increase their spiritual knowledge, they must make a habit of taking care of cow and drinking that milk, milk of the cow on a regular basis. This will keep your tissues quite open for understanding brain tissues, quite open for understanding the spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, many times people hear this and लग रहा है फौजी क्या चल रहा है, ऊपर से चला गया. ऊपर से क्यों चले जाते हैं? क्योंकि उस तरफ की एक्टिविटी लाइफ में नहीं है, उस तरफ की आपकी हीटिंग हैबिट और लिविंग हैबिट नहीं है. So naturally, whatever we discuss, it may not be appearing to be relevant. They appear very irrelevant because of not developing the consciousness. We should be like the calf who is eager to drink the milk of the cow. We should be like Arjuna. We should aspire to be like Arjuna in devotion. Not only in his competence, we have to take the example of Arjuna in devotional aspect. How much so that's how this fifth verse comes. And the seventh one, these sixth and seventh verses are very important. If you don't remember all the 7 verses of Gita Mahatma, because when people ask Bhagavad Gita, kyun padhna hai? You just recite any of these verses and explain on that. That will be sufficient for a person to understand the importance of Bhagavad Gita. These are composed by Shankaracharya. He is not an ordinary man. Shankaracharya, the great saint, was composed these 7 verses. Okay, 6th and 7th verses are very, very important. The 7th verse speaks about what is this Bhagavad Gita and who is this Krishna, and all these things. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam.
Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam.
Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva.
Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva.
Eko Mantra Tasya Namani Yani.
Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani.
Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva.
Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva.
Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam.
Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Eva.
Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva.
Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva.
Eko Mantra Tasya Namani Yani.
Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani.
Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva.
Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva.
So, we see very interesting aspect here. Shankaracharya is saying, Eka Shastra, there is only one book. What is that book? Bhagavad Gita. And there is only one God. Irrespective of whatever religion you may follow, there is only one God. And who is that one God? Devo Devaki Putra Eva. That God who has spoken Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is the one book. What is Veda? Veda means word of God. And the one Veda is Bhagavad Gita. That Krishna directly spoke. So it becomes Veda. And then third thing he said, there is only one mantra to chant. There's only one process for spiritual perfection. That is chanting the name of that Lord, that God. Tasya namani yani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You may say, Prabhu, there are many stutis, stotras, in the scriptures given. On Friday, you recite this particular stotra. On Tuesday, you recite this particular chalisa. On that particular day, you recite this. All these are subset of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When you chant Hare Krishna, that is sufficient. That will include the benefits of all other stotras and stutis which you do on a regular basis. Because Kali Yuga people are quite diverted. They don't have much time. Even though little time they are quite diverted by many other aspects. Therefore, is given one God, one book, and one mantra. People like, na? They want one-stop solution for every problem. Not too many gaps, stop-gap solutions. They want one final solution for everything. Karma pi ekam tasya devasya seva. It said that there is only one work to do in your life. You don't have to do many things. You have to do one work. What is that work? The seva, the service to God. That means any variety of things which you are doing as per your constitutional and conditional duties, that could be related as service to Krishna. Then you will be most happy. If you are a student, if you study for Krishna, you will do better. In my personal life, I experienced this. When I was a student, I was studying for Krishna. I was not studying for my ranks. No. I am a devotee. If I am devotee, if I have to tell people that I am a devotee, they'll ask, how is your studies? I say, my studies, I don't worry about my studies. No, you cannot be like that, irresponsible. Okay, I am a student of Krishna. So I will also take the regular studies properly, and I'll study sincerely. So when you study for Krishna, you will do properly. When you take care of your family, same principle applies. I take care of family to please Krishna. You will take very wonderful care. My serving Krishna is different and my taking care of family is different. Then problem comes. कृष्ण से में इतना समय चले जा रहे, परिवार के लिए समय नहीं है, ऐसा भी कभी विचार आ सकता है। या फिर ना परिवार में इतना समय जा रहा है कि कृष्ण की सेवा के लिए कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा है मेरे को समय। तो ये भी हो सकता है। तो ये दोनों से मुक्त होने के लिए person has to be see that service to family as a part of subset of service to Krishna. He has to align everything in service to Krishna. Karma pi ekam tasya devasya seva. This is how you should say. And anything which is not pleasing to Krishna, I will not do that. That means what? Following regulative principles. If some principle which you are denying, which is not pleasing, Krishna is never saying that to kill the animals and eat them. Cut the throat of an animal and let the blood ooze out and drink and eat its flesh. ऐसा कृष्ण कभी नहीं बोलते. Such activity should be avoided. Any activity which is sinful, which is not in line with Krishna, should be avoided. And all other activities which are favorable, you can certainly accept it and do it for pleasure of Krishna. Then that activity you will do very responsibly and very enthusiastically. So this how these 7 verses speak about the glories of Bhagavad Gita. So last time when we were discussing on the subject matter of this particular Bhagavad Gita introduction, we have taken 5 points. Okay, the first point was on spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So in the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, we Srila Prabhupada commented in the introduction part that the spirit of Bhagavad Gita lies in devotion to Krishna. Okay, Arjuna was selected to speak Bhagavad Gita because Arjuna was a devotee and is non-envious. This is a very important point to be observed. That because he was non-envious of Krishna, he was not challenging Krishna about his identity. ये नहीं कह रहे कृष्ण को रथ के ऊपर बैठ के, अरे कृष्ण आप क्या है, पहले रथ चलाओ, क्या अभी रोक के तुम क्या बात करने वाले हैं? कृष्ण बोलते मैं भगवान हूँ। तो अर्जुन ये नहीं कह रहे आप भगवान कैसे हो गया, मेरे को दिखाओ. He was not challenging Krishna in that way, with a doubting tendency. See, he accepted. He doesn't have any envy for Krishna. He is ready to take chastisement from Krishna. So that's how the devotional spirit you can see in Arjuna. And with that mood only you can get into the secrets of Bhagavad Gita. All the Bhagavad Gita secrets remain hidden, even though if somebody is speaking or sharing, because if one is, because person is not having that spirit of devotion. If the devotional spirit is missing, you can never understand Bhagavad Gita in its real essence, the real spirit. So the first spirit of Bhagavad Gita is devotion to Krishna. That is an underlying principle for understanding Bhagavad Gita and also applying Bhagavad Gita. And the second thing which we last week we discussed is on the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is about enlivening or enlightening each of us, not only Arjuna, it also enlightening each of us, each of in two aspects. Why am I suffering in this material world? Why there are so many tribulations? Arjuna is being bogged down with so many tribulations on the battlefield. He was really worried, why such problems are happening. So in order to enlighten him, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. So same way, we are also bogged down by many troubles, tribulations in the life. And why such sufferings are happening with us? That answer is given in Bhagavad Gita. That is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. And second thing is, when you're relieved from all the sufferings of this life, is it that in next life we have to suffer same way? Or what will happen in the next life? This is the second aspect. Which your life is not, this particular life is not all in all. You have a better life in the future based on activities you perform on this life. And that depends on karma. So this principle is also enlightened. This principle is also spoken elaborately by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Why am I suffering? What will happen after this life is ended, after the death? These two principles are being very systematically spoken by Krishna to Arjuna to enlighten him and make him enthusiastic to perform his duty as a service to Krishna. Okay. So this is very crucial thing to understand. Why we have to read Bhagavad Gita is to understand, to get answers to these two questions. Why am I suffering? You ask simply this question to anyone. Why am I suffering? अरे वो बोले मैं कहाँ दुख में हूँ, मैं तो खुश में हूँ. अरे just by saying that you are in, I am happy, you cannot deny the reality of this life. There are tribulations. There are tribulations, fourfold tribulations: birth, old age, disease, and death. These tribulations everyone must go. No matter how much exercises and gym you go and maintain your body, you have to go through this 4 tribulations. One already we went through, birth. The other 3 are waiting, or 3 are in process. The disease, old age, and death. These are tribulations which we have to go through. And ठीक है यार, ये 4 तो कभी कभी है, अभी हमेशा के लिए नहीं. बीच बीच में तो हम लोग तो खुश रह सकते हैं. कहते हैं नहीं. There are 3-fold miseries in between the 4-fold miseries. The 4 are like at different stages, and in between there are 3-fold miseries. What are they? Adhyatmika klesha. Sometimes you get tribulated by your own body and mind. Your mind start troubling you. You get unnecessary doubt on the other person in the family. With the doubt, you continue living lifelong with so much anxiety, tension, and things. So mind is the greatest enemy if it is not controlled. So such situation we go through. That is called adhyatmika klesha. Atma. Atma means mind here, not soul. Adhyatma here means mind. Miseries by your own mind and senses. And if not that, there is another klesha, that is adi daivika klesha. Miseries by the nature. Sometimes there is earthquake, tsunami, and all of such things come up. They trouble. And if not adi daivika klesha, there is adi bhautika klesha. Miseries by other people, other living entities. This season is a procreating season. Okay, the spring season is meant in which all the animals get into the tendency of procreation. Only human beings don't follow any season. But other animals, they follow a certain season. So many mosquitoes. If you go in a village area, you will find so many mosquitoes now, because that is their procreating time. So they create so much problem to everyone. You cannot sit, you cannot stand, you have to just run here and there. You have to move your hands and legs always in order to protect ourselves from mosquitoes. So sometimes we are bogged down by all these techniques. Therefore, we have to realize that we are in a suffering situation. An intelligent person doesn't deny that he is suffering. The intelligent person thinks about how to come out of sufferings. And that purpose is fulfilled in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, you should approach Bhagavad Gita. It has answers to this question. Okay, ठीक है यार, जेल दो मरने के बाद कौन देखता है? नहीं, मरने के बाद भी फिर और एक प्रकार के प्रॉब्लम आ सकता है, नेक्स्ट सफरिंग हो सकता है नेक्स्ट लाइफ में. So that answer is also given in Bhagavad Gita. What will happen at the time of death, and how can you make your next better life? Make your betterment in the next life. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. So these two purposes are being elaborated in Bhagavad Gita. And now today, for next maybe around 20 minutes, we'll discuss the 3 more important points from the Bhagavad Gita. So 3 more important points from the Bhagavad Gita. You are able to see, Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
The subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Okay, these all we discussed last time. Adhyatmika klesha, adi bhautika klesha. What will happen at the time of death? One acquires another body that is based on the karma principle. The karma principle is like, as you sow shall you reap. As you sow, so shall you reap. Whatever बीज आप डालेंगे उस हिसाब से पेड़ आएगा. हम नींबू का सीड डालेंगे, नींबू का पेड़ आएगा. आप मान लीजिए आज आंवलकी का सीड डालेंगे तो आंवलकी का पेड़ आएगा, निकलेगा. तो every action is an equal and opposite corresponding reaction. This is not a Newton law, this is God's law. Newton only discovered it. It's already there. This law is already there. The karma principle is like that. Whatever action you performed, in this life or earlier life, accordingly you get a reaction. You don't be excited, why I'm going through such suffering? Because this is the reaction of your previous actions. So this is the law of karma principle. And that karma is of two types. Instant karma. When you hit someone on the cheek, he may hit back you. Is it not? And when you smoke
Yeah,
over a
one question.
certain time, then what happens? You get cancer. You may suffer very severe lung cancer and lung diseases. You did an action, you get a reaction immediately. And there is a delayed karma. Delayed karma means in the last life what you did, uska reaction abhi bhugat rahe. या फिर आपको लगता है अरे क्या है मार के खाओ, जानवर को कौन देखा है, क्या होगा? That is an action, but the reaction you'll get later. It get delayed. Just because a karma is delayed, it doesn't mean that a person is being forgiven. The law of karma is so brutal or so cruel that it will not forgive anyone. It will ensure that reaction comes upon that person. It may not instantly come, it may be delayed after some time. जैसे देखिए पेड़ से एक फल नीचे गिर रहा है, गिरा ठीक है, देखते क्या होगा, बाद में उसी फल से एक वृक्ष निकल सकता है. So this is called delayed karma. So in human form of life, we have got the developed intelligence to decide and discriminate and take responsibility of our actions. And not engage in sinful activities. वो prerogative हमारा life में दिया है. I think somebody is you can keep the questions. We will give time for the questions at 9:15. Okay. Let me complete this subject. Okay. So the 4 pillars of sinful life, which actually give a very bad reaction to one's life, is these 4: meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex. Especially now, in the modern, through online media and everything, online platform and when things, people are blinded of reality. So many advertisements on non-vegetarian, as emphasizing so much delicious it is, but the pain which an animal going through it, that they will not show. And small children get captivated by it, and they enter into this sinful life of meat eating. Intoxication, so many types of liquor, smoking, drugs. There are some cool drinks now, which many children, I am observing it. It's unfortunate. Parents, instead of taking care of their children's health, they're making them to get addicted to such intoxications. There are cool drinks of certain type which have a caffeine content, very strong. Any cold drinks having caffeine content, if you make an addiction to the children, it will be very difficult for them in the future to live without smoking and drinking, because you are gradually training a child to become a drunkard and a smoker. So we should be very, very careful about avoiding such things. And gambling, that also on online platforms, so many gambling things. I was coming in, we went today only, I think. Yesterday I went for one program in one gated community. In entire community, in the lifts, in front of the lifts and inside the lifts, the advertisement about Jeet Lo, bet karke, regarding betting on the online game. You bet it and then you Jeet Lo. See, everyone, they're becoming irresponsible. They're leaving up their careers and focusing on this. So much. Openly, they're doing all these things: meat eating, intoxication, gambling. And illicit sex, for God's sake, if you go into the discussion, it will be so many dirty things come out of it. Illicit affairs. Entire in the platform, video platforms, so many web series They're focusing on illicit affairs only. And without illicit affair, any movie cannot be completed. So encouraging people to get into all such four sinful life, this will break them. They'll get a very bad reaction in the next life. Why people don't understand this? So if you obey God's law, following the principles of austerity, sacrifice, knowledge, and association of saints. These are four important principles which will say that you are following God's law. Austerity. With your body and mind, you should do certain austerities. The austerity of the body is you avoid the sinful activities. The austerity of the mind is at the level of controlling the mind by chanting the holy name, mantra meditation. The sacrifices, one of the best sacrifices which you can do is come together in the association of the saintly people and take the name of Lord, chanting. Such sacrifices one should perform. Then he is following God's law. Knowledge, referring to the holy scriptures, books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. You referring to them, Ramayana, Mahabharata. So many holy books are there. We are thinking of starting a value education for children. If any of you are interested to do some value education for children in your areas, you should take to that. Make children read Ramayana, Mahabharata. We have courses on that in a very friendly way which children can understand and assimilate them. Take the help of all those things and try to spread it, knowledge. And association of saintly devotees. With the saints, when you associate, you actually understand the real purpose of life. By avoiding that, then we can attain the supreme destination. So this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So one should follow association. A for association, B for books, read books, and C for chanting the holy names, and D for diet, Krishna Prasad. See, very interesting. You are known by what you eat. Okay, very important principle. You will refine your eating. I have seen many of the devotees, students, family people who have changed their diet plan. Earlier, they may be eating non-vegetarian without any restriction, and they changed their diet to Krishna Prasadam, eating only Prasadam. So many changes in life, so many positive changes. Consciousness becomes cleaned. All sinful types of thoughts will go away from the mind just by changing your diet. Very important. Take Krishna Prasad. And E for engagement. Not only engage yourself, so busy 20, when we ask to come for Zoom classes, people say we are busy with working. Kitna kaam karega? Aur kitna padhai karega? कितना पढ़ाई करेगा कि आपको आध्यात्मिक पढ़ाई करने का समय नहीं मिल रहा है, और कितना काम करेगा बाहर दुनिया में कि भगवान की सेवा करने का समय नहीं है, भक्ति करने का। तो क्या काम कर रहे हैं? तो जानवर भी कर रहे काम बाहर, पूरा दिन बिजी रहते हैं, आहार निद्रा भय मैथुन। वैसा जीवन जीने से फिर उसका मतलब नहीं बनता है ना। यू आर गिवन ए ह्यूमन बॉडी, is a separate prerogative you are given. For example, somebody has given me a Mercedes Benz. He donated me, and I use the Mercedes Benz for plowing the field here. खेती करने के लिए मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ, खेती बाड़ी करने के लिए. So the donor become upset ना. अरे बलराम अंकल को मैंने मर्सिडीज दिया और इसको ये तो खेती में यूज कर रहे हैं, उसको लेके तो आके बोलेंगे जी वापस कर दो हमको, आपको ट्रैक्टर देंगे, ट्रैक्टर चलाओ ना खेती में, ये क्यों चला रहा है? तो सिमिलरली भगवान भी देख रहे हैं, अरे इनको मानव शरीर दिया है और ये क्या कर रहे हैं? आहार निद्रा भय मैथुन कर रहे हैं, मीट ईटिंग, गैम्बलिंग, इंटॉक्सिकेशन और ये कर रहा है. He is not thinking about association, reading Bhagavad Gita, chanting the holy names, taking Krishna Prasad and doing Krishna Seva. ये नहीं कर रहे मानव शरीर के साथ. So भगवान क्या करेगा? ले लो मानव शरीर वापस दो, तुमको एक मीट ईटिंग ही करना है तुमको, एक जानवर का शरीर दे दूंगा, कितना मीट ईटिंग, पकाने का भी जरूरत नहीं, कच्चा खा सकते हैं, खरीदने का भी जरूरत नहीं, टेंशन नहीं, डाइजेशन होगा कि नहीं, डाइजेशन आराम से हो जाएगा जानवर के शरीर में, मांसाहार। धूम्रपान करना है, इंटॉक्सिकेशन करना है, इसके लिए मानव शरीर क्यों चाहिए? इससे अच्छा एक गोश्तली बॉडी ले लो, एक गोश्त तो पूरा उसी में रहते हैं। जो भूत प्रेत के जो जीवन में है, उनका खाना पीना इसी से चलता है, सिगरेट और मदिरा से। उधर एक भूत जैसे रह के भूत जैसे पियो खाओ। तो इस प्रकार देर इज ए अपॉर्चुनिटी, कृष्णा विल ऑफर दैट बॉडी ना, व्हाई यू रिक्वायर ह्यूमन बॉडी फॉर इट? सो वी शुड टेक इट वेरी सीरियसली। The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to elevate ourselves. Understand this life is not all in all. We should elevate our consciousness and reach to Krishna. That is the main purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Mam upetya punah janma dukkhalaya shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramangati. This world is dukkhalaya, but there is a paramgati. There is another planet where one should try to aspire to go. So that is being explained here in this. So we discussed. So now the 5 subjects of Bhagavad Gita, I will be just opening that. Then we will see that. Yeah. 5 subjects of Bhagavad Gita. So you can note it down. These are the 5 subjects of Bhagavad Gita, which are elaborated in entire 18 chapters. This one. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala and Karma. The 5 basic truths which are explained in Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada in the introduction part, he elaborates on these things. Ishvara, who is God? Who is that controller, the supreme controller of everything? Ishvara. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about himself very interestingly. See, Arjuna is so close to Krishna that Krishna is never minding speaking about himself in front of him. Aap kaun hai? You would like to openly speak in front of your own close people, close relatives. Are main hu, main aisa hu. And you don't, you will not be doubted by your close relatives when you speak about yourself. But you brag about yourself any outside, then people think, अरे अपना बारे में इतना कुछ बोल रहा है, क्या सोचते खुद के बारे में. So Krishna is very careful in speaking Bhagavad Gita to his devotee only and friend Arjuna, and is happy to speak about himself. Can you imagine? Krishna is happy to. We are also happy not to speak about ourselves. So this desire to be, this feeling of happiness is coming from Krishna only. So Krishna also feels happy speaking about himself. And what he's speaking about himself is not just a bluffing, it's a reality. If Narendra Modi says, I am the Prime Minister of India, it's not something he's bluffing, it's a reality. What he's speaking is, he's not proud of it. It's a fact. And there is no problem in his being proud of it. So same way here, Krishna speaking about himself as a supreme Parameshwara, Parameshwara, Krishna, Ishvara, Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha. So this is the one subject, very important subject, which is spoken in Bhagavad Gita, and very elaborately. What are the qualities of God, and how he creates this material world? ये सब चीज के बारे में elaborately Bhagavad Gita में बताया. Second subject is Jiva. Jiva is what? The living entity. We all are called Jivas. Not only human beings, all other animals also, they are called as Jiva. The Jiva is a living entity. It's called as Jiva. And this Jiva is naturally in a position of being a subordinate. It is never above God. He is If Ishvara, if God is controller, so whom he is controlling? The Jiva. The Jiva is the subordinate, is controlled by Krishna, but he has given some freedom to control. So he has given some freedom to control. Like each one of us have some control. Na? Some of you may have control over your family members, or some of you may have control over certain things in the material world, wherever you're working, your property. Somewhere you have control, but you have very tiny control. And that control is not constant. After some time, the control changes. So, getting? So, Jiva. And the third subject discussed is Prakriti, the material nature. No, Jiva is also called Prakriti. But here the Prakriti is little differently explained. Prakriti means the material nature. Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradapitaha. I am the father of all living entities. All of us, our father is Krishna. But mother, who is mother? The mother nature, material nature. This body, what you are having, it is given by the mother nature. It has come from the earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are the five gross elements of Prakriti. Body is made of it. So the Prakriti is the material nature. And this material nature has three qualities: Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. And therefore, you see, the moment you accept this body, you are also controlled by these three gunas at different times, at different situations. Sometimes you are overpowered by Sattva guna, the goodness, and sometimes you are overpowered by passion, and sometimes you are overpowered by ignorance. This overpowering aspect happens on the Jiva by Prakriti only. So, Jiva is subordinate to Krishna, and Prakriti is also subordinate to Krishna, but Jiva is also controlled by Prakriti. If Jiva is not under control of Ishvara, he is under the control of Prakriti. We say in a simple terms, if you are not serving Krishna, you are serving Maya. That Maya is Prakriti, material nature. And the fourth subject is Kala, the eternal time. The time, time is not just a clock. Okay, clock is only as a, it's just a means to understand the present, what is the situation. But time is something beyond the clock. Okay, time. Time will drive all types of actions. It's like a catalyst. Time is like a catalyst which will ensure the mixing of all the gunas. The goodness time changes to passion. This time factor is involved. You see your body also growing because of time. And death comes because of time. And again birth comes after death because of time. Kala. Kala is a sticking pattern. It will move things ahead. And that is a energy of Krishna. Kala is energy of Krishna. See, every day you are controlled by time. Not that you are controlling time. You can only control the three lines in your clock, in the watch, with the wristwatch which you are wearing. But you cannot control the time. You are controlled by the time. And the fourth subject, which is very, very crucial, is karma. Karma means activity. So the Jiva, anything he can do is based on the karma. If at all he can do anything in this matter, Prakriti is the karma. Because he doesn't have control of Kala, nor he has a control of Prakriti, nor he has a control of Ishvara. The Jiva can only refine his karma, activity. What activity he wants to do now, later. See, these subjects now we'll discuss more elaborately as the Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, everything comes up. More these things could be better understood. But basically, you have to see these are the 5 subjects which are discussed in the in this particular Bhagavad Gita. So this is what Prakriti. You see here, Prakriti. You see there are 3. These are Sattva guna, Rajas guna, Tamas guna. Tamoguna. And all these are controlled by Krishna, and Prakriti controls the Jiva. Jiva is you, Atma. Ishvara, Kala, and Karma. Ishvara is God, Jiva is living entity, and Karma is activity, and Prakriti is material nature, and Kala is time factor. So, Prabhupada, on these each of them, he elaborates in the Bhagavad Gita introduction, which we will go more elaborately when we actually go to the verses in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter wise. You can do one thing, you can read that particular section from the Bhagavad Gita introduction, where each, I think 2-3 paragraphs are given on each of them, on Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma, for better understanding. Okay. Or else we can, in the bold letter which is there, we can read also. But since time is very less, we will go a little ahead. So, Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Karma, Prakriti. These all are explained. Okay. And the liberation, the process of liberating ourselves is doing a karma in a such a way that is pleasing to Ishvara. So that is what Jiva's consciousness, here you see, the Jiva's consciousness under the covering of material circumstances is perverted, reflected. Due to this, he is engaged in actions and reactions of his own karma. When the Jiva is not in control of Krishna, but in the control of Prakriti, then what happens? His karma is bounding. Whatever karma he will do, it will bind him. As the Kala goes, as the time goes, his karma is binding him more and more and more. Therefore, the Jiva should change his control from Prakriti to Krishna. And under Krishna, what the Jiva does is the karma only. But that karma is Krishna Seva. And as the time goes, that Krishna Seva will be unwinding from all the reactions. So that is what the liberation. So being in this material world, under the Prakriti, material consciousness, we are very much contaminated. And we think we are independent, we can do anything. The karma principle makes you feel that you are Lord of everything. Lord of all I survey. That is not a right understanding. Even the dog is thinking, you know what the dog do? The dog passes urine from one corner of the street to another corner of the street. And he thinks that entire street is in my control. And no other dog can come in my area. And they make the boundaries by their urine. They pass their urine and they make their boundaries. And nobody can come inside that. They fight like that. So we may laugh at it, but actually our situation is also like that only. We also make boundaries like that. And we tell, okay, anyone aayega tumko main shoot karke maar dunga. Trespasses are not allowed. We make boundaries like that. So actually you see, under the influence of Prakriti, Maya, we do so many activities, karma, that binding you more and more and start feeling that I am the control of everything. So our relationship, real and unbounding relationship, is with Krishna. Just like you see Hanuman, his relationship with the Lord Ram is a dasya, servantship relationship. And that is a path of liberation. One should aspire for that. In pure consciousness, the activities will be dovetailed with the will of Krishna. And that will make one really happy. When the Jiva is under control of Krishna, like Hanuman is under control of Lord Ram, under the will of Lord Ram, all the Hanuman activities are glorious. When you read Hanuman Chalisa, we have a course on Hanuman Chalisa. On each of the particular Chalisa verses, there are many, many wonderful stories of Hanuman. How he aligned with Lord Ram. There is like moral stories which will help children not only remember Hanuman Chalisa, but also learn the great history of and life of Lord Hanuman and his relationship with Lord Ram. So this is very important to understand these principles in a right way. So this how we see the 5 subjects have been elaborated in Bhagavad Gita. So this is the process of understanding this Bhagavad Gita. I will just show a few slides on this and then we'll conclude in 5 minutes. And then we'll take any questions. Okay. The process of understanding Bhagavad Gita, you will be seeing here. It will just loading. The process is also explained in Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada elaborated on this section. Srila Prabhupada clarifies this aspect. The Vedic knowledge is infallible, above all doubts and mistakes. The Bhagavad Gita is essence of all Vedas. So this Vedic knowledge is infallible. Infallible means there are no mistakes in it. Like you see, any book comes, whether it is on physics or mathematics, science, or any technology, it is always a new edition comes. Why there is new edition? There are some mistakes earlier or some understanding got better evolved. So let us change it. So editions come and you purchase the new edition. But Bhagavad Gita is not any new edition. Bhagavad Gita is the old edition only. And only one and one edition, which Krishna did. It has no, अरे कृष्णा ने एक गलती बोल दिया, मैं सॉरी ये चैप्टर में ये वर्ष में मैं गलत बोल दिया, अब ये वर्ष बदल देंगे. No, this is free from all mistakes, free from any vices. So Bhagavad Gita is the knowledge, is a Veda, indefeatable. So these Vedas are indefeatable truths. The Veda, the word of God, can never be denied. And it can never be questioned. In the sense, you can certainly ask questions on it. Never be questioned means it can never be doubted. It's very clear. It has given many predictions of many aspects. Like many predictions of the birth of Jesus is given in the scriptures. The birth of Gautam Buddha, Prophet Muhammad, Chanakya Pandit, Ashoka, Raja Ashoka, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All these are predictions are given in the scriptures. Therefore, Vedas are indefeatable. So many aspects are being. Therefore, one should read these literatures very carefully. One should read this without doubting them. That is the process of understanding. So when Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, we must have that conviction. This is no fault. This is not his view. Like each one of us have certain views, na? अरे बलराम गोविंद प्रभु अपना व्यू बोल रहे हैं, हम अपना व्यू रखेंगे, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? No, इधर हम अपना व्यू, आपका व्यू हम शेयर नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. ये हम कृष्ण की व्यू ले रहे हैं. सो कृष्ण का व्यू तो पक्का रहेगा, क्लियर रहेगा, कट टू कट रहेगा, उसमें कुछ चेंज नहीं होगा. ये विश्वास के साथ one should understand the scriptures. This knowledge is given by Krishna himself. And Krishna given this to knowledge to Brahma. Like that this comes down. You can recite this very interesting verse which comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swata Krishna Jnan Jivera Kripaya Kailo Krishna Veda Puran. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita this very Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swata Krishna Jnan. What does it mean? Maya Mugdha. That Jiva which is under the control of Maya. Like we discussed earlier. That Jiva which is under control of the Maya, Swata Krishna Jnan Nahi. He doesn't have the knowledge of Krishna. It has forgotten Krishna. We all are lost child of God. We are a lost child. We have forgotten our ghar, our house. Like in picnic, when exhibition, when parents take children, sometimes the children are lost. And they don't know where they're going, what is happening, where is mother, where is father. They start crying. So we all are crying like that without Krishna. But some know it, some don't know it. We all are crying for Krishna only. We all are crying for Krishna only. We all want Krishna. but sometimes we know and sometimes we don't know. So, and this not knowing about Krishna is what? Swata Krishna Jnan. Knowledge nahi hai, bhul gaya. And what happens? Jivera Kripaya Koro, Krishna Veda Puran. Krishna what he did? उस जीवा को कृपा करने के लिए, to show compassion on that particular living entity. What Krishna did? Veda Puran, he has given the Veda Puranas. Therefore, it's important to read the Vedic scriptures, understand the Vedic scriptures properly. And especially out of all the four Vedas, the most important of the Vedas comes is the Puranas, the Amala Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the Ityasas, Mahabharata comes, in the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita comes. So Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are considered most important books to consult and understand the jnana. Okay. We must always engage our minds in reading these Vedic literatures. You see the small baby with tilak and spectacle is reading Bhagavad Gita. But you see the small girl here, she's reading the newspaper. So, see how much difference? You may, from the newspaper, what you get is the same old stories, which are repeated year after year at different places. There is a war, there is some crime, there is something, this happened, that happened, that happened. अरे ये सबसे बाहर निकलना जरूरी है. वो न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ो, and that newspaper is Bhagavad Gita. Krishna has given the Bhagavad Gita. You read it, you get the reality. Therefore, especially all of us, we should make a habit of reading books, Bhagavad Gita as it is. When we are having these sessions weekly, it's not that only weekly you come attend for 1 hour and take ho gaya. No, use the next 5 days, 6 days. Read the section which you are told to read. Properly read it. See, only when you experience, now when you lick the honey, understand its taste. You don't lick the taste of Bhagavad, you don't lick the wonderful aspect of Bhagavad Gita, and you cannot never knew it. You will never come to know its importance. You should taste it. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember Supreme Lord. That is the way we can remember the Supreme Lord. The Shabda Praman. So we see this. This particular activity. This is what the process of understanding is. Read Bhagavad Gita under the guidance of devotees. Just like you go to colleges and under the guidance of the professors you read. Same way, you have to understand Bhagavad Gita under the guidance of the devotees. With that, you can properly go through this Bhagavad Gita. So just like how a child will know about his father, a child will know about his father from his mother. He should not have to go. Same way, we can now know about the God from Vedas. Vedas are compared to mother. In this way, this entire Vedic knowledge is like a college, like authorized college, the Sampradaya. In that, there is a parampara system. The professors who heard from his professor, like that. The line goes to Krishna. Like that, we should refer to these books. So we'll conclude here. Anyone has any questions? You can ask. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Aruna Prabhu, you had a question you wanted to ask.
Yes, Prabhu. One second.
Hare Krishna, you are not audible.
Yeah, Prabhu. I'm just opening the question. I have written it down. Okay, Prabhuji, the first question is that most people say that if we are living a controlled life, then what is the use of religion and God consciousness? Because basically they are saying that accept spiritualism instead of religion, because religion
Yes, ma'am. You are no, I'm not. You are not so much audible to me. I'll just
Am I clear now?
yeah, speak.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is basically that people say, most people say that if we are living a controlled life, like not going to excess of anything, then what is the use of religion and God consciousness? Because we are already living a controlled life. So they are actually swayed towards spiritualism instead of religion, and they say that all the harm in this world is done by religion. Not all, but religion does have certain aspects which are harmful, dogmatism and all that, but there is no such drawbacks in spiritualism, so they are more inclined towards spiritualism. So how to tackle such questions?
Can you repeat your question or rephrase your question for me to understand in more proper way?
Yeah, okay, I'll rephrase. So rephrase में प्रभु जी वो मतलब what people are saying is that अगर मैं कुछ गलत नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, इस लाइफ में, और मैं एक कंट्रोल लाइफ अगर जी रहा हूँ, देन भगवान का क्या जरूरत है? आई एम एनीवेज with or without God's influence in my life. If I'm
Okay, got it.
working correct time, then what is the use of it? Because spiritualism में usually कुछ detrimental नहीं होता है, but देखा गया है कि अगर religion turns into fanaticism and dogmatism, then there are negative aspects of it.
See, I suppose I'm audible to all of you. Okay. So Aruna Prabhu's question is about like there are people who say without God also I am better. I am living a better life. I'm living a good life, pure life. There is no involvement of God in that particular way. So how to tackle such questions about what is the need of spirituality when I'm able to manage my life regulated? So actually, the fact is that the nature of this Prakriti, the material nature which we discussed, it has three prominent aspects, three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. The quality of Sattva guna is people feel have knowledge and happiness. The quality by which the passion is defined is enjoyment. Enjoyment and titillation. Titillation, sense gratification. And the qualities by which ignorance is testified is by suffering. So generally, this type of question which Aruna Prabhu raised, without God also I am very happy, peaceful, regulated in life. These are the people who at the platform of Sattva Guna or who are motivated with certain knowledge and happiness. They're happy. There's no God in picture. So Prabhupada compares this type of people to be good prisoners. They're like good prisoners. In prison house, there are many prisoners are there. And some are like people in the mode of prisoners in mode of ignorance. They're so cruel. Even in the prison, they had to be kept, singly, with chained. We don't know, we cannot predict their behavior. Like the atheistic people. And the second type of people are who are passionate. They had done a mistake and they don't have that much repentance of their mistake. But seeing the so much punishment by the jailer, they're careful to regulate and then trying to continue with their sinful things also. Like that. But there are third category who are improved and they feel as a good prisoners. They're happy staying in the prison house. खाने के लिए मिल रहा है, पीने के लिए मिल रहा है. Good prisoners. So Prabhupada says, even good prisoner is a prisoner. He's still under the control of the jailer. So just saying that I'm a good prisoner, he can never remain good always. Why? Because he is under the association. He is within the association of those people who are bigger criminals, who are in the mode of passion and ignorance. So if somebody says that without God also I am regulated, I am peaceful, it's not possible to live like that for life. They are influenced by mode of goodness aspect, that they are able to stay for some time like that. But by the influence of the Kali, the passion and ignorance around, the mode of passion and ignorance, naturally, people come down in their intentions and they turn towards the animalistic way of life. Till the time you don't take to God consciousness, you are sure to go down in your consciousness because of the influence of passion and ignorance. Especially Kali Yuga is filled with passion and ignorance very prominently. Goodness people cannot remain good always. And this is a fact. There's one man in Maharashtra who has become very prominent because of his finding the truth about reality, about the political people around. Anyone did some blunder in terms of money mishandling, women mishandling, he used to point out openly without any fear, and he became a hero. And after some time, when he was interviewed, people started considering him as Bhagavan, is God himself only. He said, I am God actually, because I'm able to, without any fear, I'm able to find out the faults and take out in front of people, bring that person's reality in front of everyone, media. So after some time, he himself was found in one scam. Why? Because goodness cannot remain individual independently. The goodness has to have a support of spirituality. Therefore, we say that those people who are in passion, ignorance, they can easily come to spirituality by taking because they feel the need of it. But those who are too much goodness, they feel there's no need of spirituality. हम तो आराम से रह रहे हैं, पीसफुल है, सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है, ये भगवान भगवान क्यों बोल रहे इतना? क्योंकि for them knowledge, it's so much in the head become very heavy. They can't take God consciousness very seriously. Therefore, such people need to be given a proper views about the reality of goodness. Goodness by itself cannot remain independently sustainable. It needs, it will remain sustainable only with the help of Vedic principles, spiritual principles. That's how the Vedic culture is. In the Vedic time, people could remain in goodness for a long time, consistently contributing in society because of spirituality. You see, you take any great leader, they have some spiritual connection, spiritual culture backing up of them. Because of it, their goodness is prominently can be seen, visible. Okay? I think Aruna Prabhu, but I've got certain understanding.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, the
Yeah.
second question is that if the impact of karma is absolute, then what is the, again, why should we need to be God
Yeah.
conscious? Because
See, karma is impact of karma is absolute in the middle world, or you can say it's relative. The influence of karma is, it has its full influence within this middle world. Okay, but when you take shelter of Krishna and engage your karma in serving Krishna, and Krishna can use your earlier karma to get you out of this karma cycle. Getting? When you engage your karma in Krishna karma, you engage your karma in Krishna karma, Krishna will use your earlier karma to get out of the karma cycle. Clear?
yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. I had additional points, but you have already mentioned it, so it's okay.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you for all of your patience, involvement, and enthusiastic hearing. So please participate regularly like this, and next time we will meet with the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1 onwards. So the reading section, which I would like to suggest all of you to read, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1 is observing the armies. It is like setting the scene for Kurukshetra war. It's very interesting, and many good, wonderful characters come out in that. So in that first maybe 10 verses. Okay. Raji Prabhu, you are there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. First 10 verses. And you can find out, Abhinav, the participants who are there. In that, someone you can find out who will be speaking on briefly on those first 10 verses. Haribol?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Anyone would like to volunteer? Otherwise, Rajiv Prabhu will select.